Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the mop here on a Wednesday morning, December 3rd. So, welcome to the mop. And, yeah, we've got snow. We've got bitter cold weather coming in. I need a haircut. We'll see if I can get that done. But, what would you do? That's what it's titled today. With everything that's going on, and I never served in the military, so I have no idea how this all works. For those of you that have served, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your commitment to this country. My question is, what would you do as far as these boat strikes, as far as anything else goes? I'm not sure how the chain of command works with, like, Secretary Pete Hegseth. Does he send a memo? Does he send people? Does he do this in person with a group of generals or admirals or whatever it may be? You know, Mr. Kelly is in trouble with Trump because of the things that were said or things that were going on about not carrying out illegal orders. So if this order comes down to strike this boat, and they don't do it because they refuse to, will they be I don't know. This is where my question becomes this. So when it comes to striking a boat and then there are survivors and he says strike it again, or whoever it may be, is it then a problem, or was it a problem with the person, whether they say they did it or not? To me, and this is my common sense, would say, if my boss orders something that I feel is skeptical or unethical or against the law, no matter where it is, whether I'm working in the power sports world, grocery world, restaurant world, if my boss says, here, you're going to do this, and ethically, morally, it does not sit with me. Most of the time in the private sector like this, you're just going to get fired or let go. And you don't have a career to worry about. Now we're talking about admirals and generals, and I think quite a few people that have a hell of a lot more military experience than our secretary does. So my question is, if this admiral says, nope, not doing it. No, I'm not. Not doing it. So then he's relieved and they bring in somebody that actually will. Okay? And then they're put under investigation and the secretary is going to throw this gentleman or that lady. Well, he doesn't want ladies in the military, so it won't be that. So the generals get let go. Or thrown under the bus. Thrown under the bus more likely because they don't have the balls to admit that they did it. They don't have the guts to show to the world that, yes, I am going to take responsibility and here's why. Instead, they throw somebody under the bus saying, oh, wasn't me, it was him. Go look at him. You got to interview him instead. So if you have served and somebody comes to you in the military and says, I want you to do this. And it is, whether it's to blow up somebody that's floating around in the ocean on a boat, and you say no because they're not an imminent, to say they're an imminent threat to the country where they're at, what the hell are they going to use? A piece of lumber to beat everybody else? I don't get where we're coming from with that thought anyway. But, or if they're in a 5-engine boat. See, I always thought it had to be an imminent threat in order to do what we're doing. I always thought that they had to be an imminent threat to the country, which would be like if somebody showed up on our shores of California in a tank driving towards California or shooting up things, then you could blow them up. Or 10 guys in a boat land on shore with guns and everything else. They're an imminent threat. That's my take on it. 3 people in a high-speed boat, even if it's packed full of narcotics, is not an imminent threat. You detain them by pulling around. We have plenty of big boats. I mean, we have some pretty big-ass boats with plenty of people. To probably take 10 people and arrest them, is my thought. I would have to believe so. That we could easily show up, pull them over, and arrest them. And then we would have a shitload of drugs as proof that what we're doing is legal. True? I don't know. What the hell do I know? Just a kid in southern Wisconsin that doesn't like to drive to Madison because of traffic. I'd rather sit out in the country and stay away from people. But what is the point of having, I mean, Christ, we don't have to have a military or anything then if we're going to just do this. You just blow them from the sky, because that's what we're doing. You don't have to have all of this stuff if we're just going to blow everybody up. I believe we have people trained to detain. I believe we have people trained to take care of these problems and not just blow them up. My conclusion to this deal, and this is my conclusion, is Mr. Hegseth needs to be found guilty of war crimes because they're not an imminent threat. And since Mr. President of the United States is backing him too, you might have if I drive the car to a bank and my buddy in the passenger seat robs the bank and we drive away, even if I knew it or not, guess who also is going away for robbing a bank? The guy driving the car. So whoever is in line to drive the car is going to go away. And if you're going to all of a sudden say, oh, wasn't me. Actually, I was watching it live from home. And so it wasn't me. Reminds me of a song once I heard about getting caught on the sofa or the counter, and it wasn't me. That's how this whole organization seems to be right now. Wasn't me. And then you have a press secretary that said it was him, but now we're changing attitude on that. See how funky shit's getting? If you wave that big MAGA hat and that big MAGA flag, how are your thoughts right now? Is it all crystal clear? Are you still waving that flag? What really surprises me about this is why do we need the Epstein files released? Why do we need them all released? Why don't we just believe all the women that came forward? Do we really think all these women came with these stories after getting together in a room? Did they all call each other? Did they all say, hey, this sounds like a good idea? Let's tell them what happened in our lives. Because if you've ever talked to somebody that's gone through something this traumatic, they don't usually like to talk about it. Have you ever tried to ask a Vietnam vet what happened in Vietnam? They don't talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. See, people don't want to talk about the abuse that they've went through. Hence why you go, well, Jesus, she's in a domestic violence situation. Why doesn't she just leave? If you've never studied criminal justice or anything like that, you understand that they are hooked to get in and to get out. It's not just walk away and life is good. They're usually broke, mentally, physically, anything else. So Our government is now throwing admirals and generals under the bus. After Mr. Hegseth already started with, hey, you fat slobs that all look terrible when you show up at the Pentagon or you show up at work, you need to get in shape. You have a president that's sleeping during a cabinet meeting that's talking about all of this. It is an absolute disgrace to watch. I just want people to man up and admit that they have no frickin' clue what is going on. They got put into places to help one agenda. And our country looks like a joke. Go to a country, any other country. If you can take a vacation, go take a vacation sometime, like we did to Switzerland. This country is laughed at. It is laughed at hysterically. And why is it? And here's my solution too. If Tim Walz if they're found guilty of fraud and everything else, like Minnesota's putting them through, and punish it then. But don't start punishing already. And as a government, as the United States of America, it's pretty hard to punish Tim Walz for anything with what we've got going on with those in Washington. That's hence also why it won't happen, probably, because it's hard to punish people, obviously. You know? But don't worry. The FBI is headed to Minnesota because of the Somalian problem that they complain a lot. They're complainers, they're whiners. So Mr. Trump is sending them now. They're sending ICE to Minneapolis to take care of the whiners and complainers. Thought we were taking care of the severe criminals, the violent ones. So now you're considered violent if you complain? I'm in trouble. But the only good thing is I'm a 6'5" white guy. That might help. And that's the shame too. So that's where we're at today. A lot to think about. And if you're just like blow it off and you don't worry about it, and you think, shit, Chris, that's all this. We live out in southwest Wisconsin. How does it affect us? It will affect you in the long run at some point. So, have a great day. Take time to bless somebody today. And I will be back tomorrow morning with another edition of The Mop.